Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. In the last couple of episodes you saw me transform this space upstairs to create a new bathroom and a bedroom. So now that that's all finished, let me show you what's been going on in the room below. Hi guys, so we are now downstairs in the back room. Just insert a clip of what this looked like when I moved in. So it wasn't initially my plan to start doing this room, but when the guys were here ripping out the chimney, they were making such good progress on the day. They actually said that they'd have time to take it all out. So I was like, yep, go ahead, get it all done. So the house was in absolute chaos on the run up to Christmas, a literal building site. So whilst everyone else was getting all nice and Christmassy and all sorted out, I was literally living in chaos. So it was really important for me to try and get this room habitable on the run up to Christmas, because I had my boyfriend coming up staying, so I wanted us to have a nice environment for whilst he was here. So let me take you to the very last couple of days of November and show you the progress that I've made up to this point. In here is just an absolute mess. So we've got where the chimney came out, where I've had to run up some new radiator pipes. The electrics have been done in here, so the walls are an absolute mess. I was hoping that we'd just be able to skim over these, but as I've stripped this wallpaper, started on this end, got to here, and then it blew. So all of this is going to have to come off, which I'm going to do shortly. Once I've got all that sorted, I need to pull all of the old coving off, and then that's going to have to be bonded up at the top when the plasterer comes. I don't think he's going to be skimming over this because it is okay, apart from where the electricians made a little bit of a mess, and I've opened up an air vent to make a cat flap. Once I've got all the plaster off, I'm going to make a start with filling in where the chimney was and hopefully get this plastered over the next couple of weeks. Finally got all the plaster off. There was a bit down this edge which must have been quite new bonding, so that was really difficult. It probably took longer to get that section off than the rest of it all put together. So next up I'm going to put the damp membrane on the back of here, fit some battens, and then there's going to be some mud that goes on there, plasterboarded over, and then that whole wall can get skimmed. So it has been getting really dusty now, and I'm a bit worried about the camera getting damaged, so I'm not going to film this bit because there is some more drilling and stuff to be going on. So I'll show you that once it's finished. So at this point when the plasterer came, it was the middle of December, so by the time he'd finished boarding and skimming the room, we were maybe 10 days before Christmas, so I was in a mega rush to try and get this sorted. The plaster was taking ages to dry and I just didn't have time on my side at this point. I should have waited longer before I started painting it, but because I was in a rush, I just sort of went ahead, and I went on with the bare plaster paint, which is the same as what I used upstairs on the plaster, so that gives it a nice coat to put the colour on top. You'll see here that the dabs where the plasterboard's been added to the wall aren't fully dry, so I did keep the dehumidifier running just to try and suck out as much moisture as possible. I then went on with the top colour. This is Dulux Pebble Shore. So this is the massive radiator that I've picked up. I'd started putting the brackets on with the fittings that were supplied, which were these, but because the walls had been dotted and dabbed, I wasn't confident that they were actually going to hold. So I've picked up these Corfix dot and dab wall fixings. So they are really long, So you've got a 10mm plug, and then this goes inside to support the bit in between the brick and the plaster, and then a screw that goes in here. That's the radiator on. My neighbour gave me a hand getting that lifted onto the wall. I've had to just adjust the pipe work a little bit. Fingers crossed, having that in here, it will help dry the plaster out. So progress isn't too bad. I still need to finish painting the ceiling. The walls there still aren't quite dried out, but I've got literally 2 days to get this sorted out. Today I'm going to be doing the laminate flooring. Last night I levelled out here, and this morning I've been sort of scraping up all the plaster, fixing the edges, because I'm going to have the skirting going on top of the laminate. Apart from this area here, I know it's not been painted. Should have got that painted first, but I'm in a rush and I need to get this sorted. So I've not pulled this skirting off because the way that this door is here, this has been planed so that it still opens. So I'll be putting a trim all along here and around the door, just up that wall, and then the rest of it is going to be skirting on top. So this is what I'm using. I can't remember the site that I got this from. I basically had to pick something that could get delivered before Christmas, and the laminate sample that I'd tried that I really liked wasn't available for delivery until the 28th of December. So this is grey oak. It's got a slight beige tone to it, which is what I was going for because I don't want the whole house grey. So I'm hoping that this will be quite a warm grey colour, which should go quite nicely with the walls. So I'm not going to film this first bit because it's quite a tricky bit starting off at the door, because this is eventually going to run through into the hallway as well. And it's sod's law that when I'm filming I make mistakes, so I'm going to do the hard bit off camera so that I don't mess it up, and then I'll get this first piece run all along here, which is the complicated bit, and then around the radiators as well will be a bit more tricky, but the rest of it should go down, fingers crossed, okay. So this is now how the room is looking at the moment. It's not changed at all since before Christmas, and I've ordered a sofa, which is a corner sofa, which is going to be going here, which is due to be delivered in about 4 days. So I need to get some skirting board put on, painted. I've still got some patchy paint on the ceiling. I've got a lot to sort out over the next couple of days, because the last thing I want is for a new sofa to be getting delivered and me absolutely trashing it with paint and dust and all sorts. So the things that I definitely need to get sorted out, I'm not happy with the plastering on this wall where the chimney was. I'm not sure if this is going to show up on camera. I might just have to add in some photographs. But like, I had put a lot of work on the plasterer literally the week before Christmas, so I was rushing a little bit doing this. So I think I'm going to have to get my sander out and see whether I can smooth that out a bit. But to be fair, I think like, I don't want this room to be too boring, so I do think I'm going to make a feature on this wall of some description. I think what I'm best off doing is waiting for the sofa to arrive, getting some wallpaper samples maybe, and getting an idea on the colours that I really want in here, because what's on the wall at the moment is Dulux Pebble Shore. It's not quite the colour that I expected it to be. I'd seen posts on Instagram with colours. I was like, oh, that's really nice. It was pebble show, but it's not really looking the same as it does in other people's houses. Maybe it's just the lighting in here, I'm not sure. So another issue that I've now got because of the plastering, because the walls were dot and dabbed, I've now got a big gap around the door frames. So I need to try and figure out how I'm going to build this out, because I don't want to be totally replacing the door frames. So these are going to have to be patched up to a certain extent, and the architrave put on before I do the skirting boards. I'll be getting a new TV in here. I just put that up on the wall so that it was out of the way. This dining table will be going. I've been trying to think of how to best lay out this room so that it can incorporate a dining area as well, because the kitchen's not big enough to have a dining table in it. So once I've got the sofa in here, I should be able to get an idea of where I can place furniture a little bit better. But I don't want to rush getting this room finished, because I want to make sure that if I'm buying new furniture that it is the right furniture. So in the next instalment you will be seeing me doing the woodwork in here. So I'll be doing the skirting boards, sorting out those door frames, the architraves. The sofa will probably arrive and this room will start coming together. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.